Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be flipping this dresser that I found off of Facebook Marketplace for $30. I'm super excited to see what you guys think. But before we get started, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. If you haven't heard about Skillshare, Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives. They offer thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on things like design, video, time management, woodworking, and more. Speaking on time management, because I work and also do YouTube, including all of the filming, editing, and project creating, on top of being a mom and a wife, I myself have taken a class by Mike Vardy titled Productivity Habits, and also the class by Michael Karjanarpikorn on real productivity to help me manage my time better to become more productive and efficient with my time. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. If you're interested in joining Skillshare, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. Now let's go ahead and get started. I made sure to label the back of each drawer to make sure I placed them exactly where they originally were in the beginning. I moved on to removing all of the hardware and placing it in a Ziploc bag to keep it all together because I will be reusing it for this project. Thankfully, the glass on the doors were easy to remove simply by loosening a couple of screws for easy cleaning. I used a TSP substitute solution to wipe everything down. Before spraying the base of the cabinet though, I did vacuum it to make sure and remove all of the extra dust bunnies. One of the frame pieces was loose, so I applied some wood glue and clamped it back into place. One of the drawers also had some kind of paint stuck on the top of it, but thankfully it scraped right off. I also reattached one of the support boards for one of the drawer slides with some brad nails, and there was a small amount of wood filling I had to do, and I removed the bottom of two drawers that needed to be replaced. Because the drawer fronts were in such good condition and I wanted to restore the color, I applied some Refinish in the color Walnut. I lightly scrubbed it with some 4/0 steel wool, working with the grain of the wood and then immediately wiping away the excess. Once the wood filler was dry, I lightly sanded it smooth with a sanding sponge. I scuff sanded the rest using 120 grit with my orbital sander. After thinking on whether or not to paint this dresser, I decided to paint at least some of it. Because the weather wasn't the best this week, I will not be spraying. I mixed the colors Talley Green and Roux Brown from Melange paints to make a custom green. After painting the tops and the side, I realized it seemed kind of off, so I taped off the sides and painted the bottom trim as well. And while I waited on the first coat to dry, I moved on to applying feed and wax on the drawer fronts for extra protection. I wanted to try and reuse the glass on the doors, but I was not a fan of the design on them, but thankfully I was able to scrape it all off using a blade. If you watched me before, you know that I always sand in between coats before applying the next. After applying the second coat, I realized there was still something missing. I don't always have an exact vision for every piece, and when I don't, I will take the original image and draw out different designs or colors to help see a clearer vision of the potential end product. I ended up deciding on going ahead and painting the sides of the front face as well. I ripped down a 1/4 inch plywood board to replace the bottoms of the 2 drawers that were damaged. And it was finally time to build and add the new base to the dresser. I had a scrap piece of wood left over that I tested some stain and restore finish on to see which would match or complement the drawer fronts the best. In the end, I decided to go with the walnut stain. To help hold the new base in place for me, I used clamps before securing it to the bottom. I built the new base to be recessed on the sides as well as the front, so I had to double check and make sure it was even all around. To bring the color back to the face frame, I applied the Refinish the same way I did for the drawers. The insides of the drawers needed a bit more moisture, so I applied feed-in wax to condition them. I also went ahead and added it to the face frame as well as the shelving area. I sealed the painted wood with varathane wax. To help the drawer slide a little bit better, I went ahead and added a drop of feed-in wax to the wheels of the drawer slides. I went ahead and attached the doors, drawers, and hardware back into place. And now let's remember what this dresser used to look like and what it looks like now. So for those of you who are curious, I spent about $100 on materials, including all of the wood to repair and to build the new base, as well as the paint. And I spent $30, like I mentioned before, on Facebook Marketplace to obtain the dresser. So total cost was $130. I will be listing it for $575, hoping to get what I'm asking for, but we'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know in the comments if and when I sell this piece. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them down in the comment section below. I love y'all, be kind, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.